Well, we could talk about Jane Goodall, but let's talk song. Before we start, let me quickly thank Andrew Morgan for his amazing support here on the YouTube channel, and also to JC for his support on Patreon. If the rest of you want to support me as well, one way or the other, check out the info in the descriptions. Today I'm going to continue listening to Taylor Swift's The Life of a Showgirl. I seem to have skipped track number 6, which is called Actually Romantic. I want to continue learning about Taylor Swift's amazing songwriting, so without further ado, let's get going. It's the Where Is My Mind progression, I believe. Step 1, find the key we're in. Boom, I believe is the thing. Is it E major? Yes, can be confirmed. We are in the key of E major. Step 2, find the chord progression. The Where Is My Mind chord progression. I know the first chord and I know the last chord. I don't know the two in the middle. So we end with A major. We start with E major, we end with A major. 1 and 4 chords, respectively. 6 minor, right? Very, very cool chord progression, and I imagined that the third chord would be a modal interchange, which is in fact the truth. So what we have got here is E major, that then goes to 6 minor, so far so diatonic and conventional. The third chord is this here, the 3 major chord that we would normally expect to be a secondary dominant to the 6 minor chord. This time they change the order of the 2 chords. They put the 6 minor first and then they go to its supposedly secondary dominant, that this time is only a modal interchange that wants to take us to the 4 chord. So really interesting to have a 1, 6 minor, 3 major and 4 major chord. And as I already mentioned, I think the first instance where this chord progression actually became something of a legend is the Pixies song, Where Is My Mind?
I heard you call me boring Barbie when the Coke's got you brave.
Same chord progression in the verse. The melody is this here.
I heard you call me boring Barbie.
Downward scale, I want to know what they do with the modal interchange chord, if they kind of highlight this in the melody or they make it kind of disappear.
I heard you call me boring Barbie when the Coke's got you brave.
I think we have melody that includes all the scale notes, not the modal interchange idea, not this B sharp in that case, I should say, but we do have Is that not cool? So it's basically the scale going down, and when we go down to the E, we have an octave leap up again, which I expect to be kind of the transition to a repetition of that melody phrase, which would make sense to kind of take it up in order to take it down yet again.
High-fived my ex and then you said you're glad he ghosted me.
Variation at the end of the phrase. So we start, but here, instead of going even more down, they go bum, ba-dum, including also an octave leap that kind of gets a bit blurred out by that, minor 9 step, I should say, that then turns into an octave leap. Really, really cool. Let's look at lyrics. I heard you call me boring Barbie when the Cokes got you brave. High-fived my ex and then you said you're glad he ghosted me. It is, in terms of rhyming patterns, relatively loose. What's quite remarkable is that it's two really long lines. It might be a syllable challenge, just as we saw, especially with Lady Gaga, but also with other artists, where they take a huge line and try to find other lines to kind of fit that pattern. I heard you call me boring Barbie when the Cokes got you brave is a 15-syllable idea, 15-syllable challenge that then becomes high-fived my ex and then you said you're glad he ghosted me. I think it's that ghosted me. So it's something like a melisma where you have got two melody notes on one syllable. So it's basically a 15-syllable challenge in the verse with cool lines that, as I said, in terms of a rhyming pattern, don't really have a very close relationship to each other. What is remarkable, certainly, is that we have got alliterations, one of Taylor Swift's favorite rhetoric devices. In the first line, it's certainly the B soundscape with boring, Barbie, and brave, but also the K sounds with call and coke. In the second line, high-fived my ex, and then you said you're glad he ghosted me. We could argue for this G alliteration, or G, I should say, for glad and ghosted me. Something that Taylor Swift pays attention to, we know that.
Wrote me a song saying it makes you sick to see my face.
Same tag to the line that we had in the first line. We are still in the verse. We still, I imagine, have got 15 syllables. Let's confirm that quickly. Wrote me a song saying it makes you sick to see my face. So this 15th syllable seems to be kind of optional if they kind of prolong one of the syllables before. Certainly a 14 to 15 syllable challenge. Again, with remarkable alliterations, in that case a lot of S sounds. Wrote me a song saying it makes you sick to see my face. So 4 word beginnings on the S is not a coincidence.
Some people might be offended.
Interesting. So remember that the second line already included a melodic variation. The fourth does that as well, but a new one. Let's find out what happens here.
Some people might be offended.
Okay, so the landing on this high G sharp we had already in line number 2. We shorten the line and land there, of course intensifying that suspense feel, because A, we go up, and B, we play. Remember that this I should play, right? The major 3, where we sing this as the melody note, so we sing the root note of that modal interchange chord, intensifying the juicy flavor of stuff.
But it's actually sweet.
Second thing, I believe we are now in the chorus. The first difference that we notice is that, of course, the melody does not start after the downbeat anymore. Remember that this was the melody beginning in the verse. So, depending on how you count this, if this is your beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, we would start on the 2, right? The melody beginning was certainly after the downbeat, I would argue, on the 2. In that case, we have got a small pickup idea with that but it's
actually
right, with the but it's building up and actually being the act in actually being the downbeat melody note.
But it's actually sweet. All the time you've spent on me. It's
chord progression is the same. Melody totally different. Let's analyze melody for a second.
But it's
The 2 pickup notes are F sharp and E.
actually sweet.
Biggest difference, of course, between the 2 melody lines is that one went down while this one goes up. Okay, remember this here? Now we go up. Ba-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-dum. Only with the last melody going down, so kind of doing everything opposite compared to the verse melody, which of course creates a lot of contrast, which is what this new section is supposed to do. So, but it's actually sweet, and of course we can see that the word actually also appears in the title of the song, which might be a hint at the fact that we are actually in the chorus.
All the time you've spent on me, it's
Okay, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-da-dum. This is the second melody idea in that chorus. Remember? But it's actually sweet. It's also relatively clear that we are talking about a pentatonic structure here compared to the verse melody that was all major scale notes. Remember this here? Right? Now we skip two very important notes, which are the A and the D sharp. And by skipping those two, we basically turn this major scale into a pentatonic scale. So those are now the melody notes that she sings. Ba-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-dum. I forgot the second melody line, but it was certainly something with... Right? Ba-dum, ba-dum. Certainly skipping the D flat, which is, D sharp, I should say, which is what, as I said, the pentatonic scale is all about.
honestly wild.
Going back to that first melody idea, this time with It's Honestly Wild.
All the effort you've put in,
Variation of that downward idea, now going up again. Okay, so will this continue as the chorus, or what will happen?
it's actually romantic.
Actually romantic, title of the song. And suddenly we do include the D sharp, okay? So suddenly we leave the pentatonic scale and enter the Ionian scale again.
Really gotta hand it to you.
Okay, so now we have got a direct repetition of one melody idea, which was the actually romantic thing. That then becomes I really gotta hand it to you.
I really gotta hand it to you.
Landing on the B.
Ooh, no man has ever loved me like you do.
With a ooh melody sound.
I really gotta hand it to you. Ooh.
Ooh, ooh. We know that sixth leap from, I think it was the last idea in the verse that also did that sixth leap at the end.
No man has ever loved me like you do.
I think it's the last line. No man has ever loved me like you do. Let's look at lyrics for a second. But it's actually sweet all the time you've spent on me. This is a double entendre. It's honestly wild, all the effort you've put in. Oh, that's very, very too. It's very, very suggestive. It's actually romantic. I really got to hand it to you. What a beautiful mosaic rhyme where we have got tiny words rhyming with a big one. Romantic rhymes with to hand it. Okay, really, really cool. And no man has ever loved me like you do, by putting efforts in and spending time on her.
Thought of you in a long time.
Verse 2, that leaves the pattern that we've established in verse 1. Remember that verse 1 was that all scale notes downward movement. Certainly something else here.
Hadn't thought of you in a long time.
Which is, I believe, also a melody from Where Is My Mind, right?
With your feet on the air, your head on the ground.
I think it's the verse, right? I don't really remember. And I also think of Fix You by Coldplay now.
When you try your best but you don't succeed.
Which I think uses a very similar chord progression and also winks at the Where Is My Mind idea. I hadn't thought of you in a long time.
Hadn't thought of you in a long time.
Interestingly enough, also with the pickup thing that we know from the chorus and not so much from the verse.
But you keep sending me funny valentines.
Okay, this I should... Really interesting with those leaps and stuff. Also, cool rhyming ideas with hadn't thought of you in a long time, but you keep sending me funny valentines.
I know you think it comes off vicious, but it's precious, adorable.
Cool! Internal rhyme with vicious and precious, okay? So, melody-wise, we stay here. Okay? Lyrics, very cool idea to include this precious a bit before we would expect the rhyme, and the adorable itself is not a rhyme word, interestingly enough.
A toy chihuahua barking at me from a tiny purse.
What a cool image, like a toy chihuahua barking at me from a tiny purse, including melodic variation. We don't have this, but instead...
Like a toy chihuahua.
Right, the toy should be higher, but isn't. She kind of turns around the idea.
Barking at me from a tiny purse. That's how much it hurts.
That's how much it hurts. Why would a toy chihuahua barking at her from a tiny purse hurt? Or does that mean it doesn't hurt? I don't know.
Many times has your boyfriend said, why are we always talking about action?
And now it becomes also melodically relatively loose. Suddenly we go back to a after downbeat melody with that conversational, how many times has your boyfriend said, why are we talking about her?
How many times has your boyfriend said?
Right, how many times has your boyfriend said? I think this is the structure, but as I said, she includes her spoken language that she likes a lot as well.
Why are we always talking about action?
Right, and ending on that cool thing that also happens to be a pre-chorus drop where the band stops playing and we highlight the vocal leap to the B with it talking about her thing, right?
Why are we always talking about?
On the always, the band stops.
Why are we always talking about? It's actually sweet.
And also cool that we have got two melodies kind of intertwining here, because we end the idea from the verse with why are we always talking about her, while at the same time the pickup melody from the chorus with this is actually sweet starts.
Why are we always talking about? It's actually sweet. Honestly wild. All the effort you put in.
It's deliberately not rhyming, which is really interesting. So it's actually sweet and it's honestly wild are two lines that of course have the same length and have the same structure, but deliberately do not rhyme, which is a really, really cool thing to do.
I really gotta hand it to you. Ooh.
And this, of course, becomes a really, really cool hook in the second half of the chorus, where we have got the sixth leap as a hook, this you that repeats and therefore becomes something that people wait for.
You think I'm tacky, baby? Stop talking dirty to me.
Okay, we are in the middle of a very, very clear primary bridge that wants to build up. We can already tell that. Let's find chords first.
Think I'm tacky, baby? Stop talking dirty to me. It sounded.
I think it's a 4/5 bridge. Very, very simplistic in chord terms, but with a lot of build-up function.
You think I'm tacky, baby? Stop talking dirty to me.
Also with that snare on the downbeats, highlighting that build-up feel. I know arrangement and not song, but certainly underlining the intention of that bridge. The melody is also interesting because we have got a back and forth between this "you think I'm tacky baby" and the kind of response to that "stop talking dirty to me." Let's analyze melody for a sec.
You think I'm tacky?
Also really rudimentary melody with that fifth leap. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum.
Baby, stop talking dirty to me.
Okay, so we've got the two motifs that kind of take turns. First this firefighter's siren, and then we've got the "stop talking dirty to me" as kind of the answer to this.
It sounded nasty, but it feels like you're flirting with me.
Same idea, a melodic variation in the ad-lib where we have got this "with me."
Feels like you're flirting with me.
Okay, but basically also harmonization of the things that happen anyway. Lyrics: "You think I'm tacky baby, stop talking dirty to me." Also cool alliteration with tacky and talking. "It sounded nasty, but it feels like you're flirting with me." Alliteration with feels and flirting. Also really cool rhyme between dirty and flirting, a rhyme that I haven't heard. Cool.
I mind my business, God's my witness that I don't provoke it.
Oh, interesting. So she doesn't have this melodic idea, but instead does something else.
I mind my business, God's my witness.
Right? It's Video Killed the Radio star.
That I don't provoke it.
Ideas that we know, but certainly form a variation compared to everything we've heard so far. And I think now, with the fourth repetition of the progression, we also change chords.
It's kinda making me wet. 'Cause it's
Okay, and again they go to that three major idea, this time intensifying the dominant feel that this sometimes can have with the, again, quite suggestive, no, not suggestive at all, but very obvious and plain, "it's kinda making me wet."
actually sweet.
And back to the final chorus that we of course wanted to build up to in the first place.
All the time you've spent on me, it's on.
Tiny variation. The A to G sharp we hadn't heard before, tiny variation in the last chorus, makes sense.
Lovely. It's honestly lovely.
Variations, "it's honestly lovely," which was something else before. Honestly wild, right? And also with tiny melodic variation.
All the effort you put in, it's actually romantic.
This is a very good line. "Actually romantic." And this the line sounds actually romantic, especially with that D sharp to C sharp. Has got a romantic and longing element to it.
Really gotta hand it to you.
Melodic variations. This is what we want in the last chorus.
You. No man has ever loved me like you did.
The band certainly had fun playing this. We can hear that all the way through with beautiful drum fills and breaks and cool, funny things.
No man has ever loved me like you.
What a snare fill. What a messed up snare fill.
No man has ever loved me like you did.
It's actually romantic, and then she shouts through a megaphone, "You're just giving me so much attention."
Romantic.
Oh, interesting end. That is
Romantic.
bum 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 bum. ending on the 4 chord. Really, really interesting. This was actually Romantic by Taylor Swift from the life of a showgirl. I'm sure we can take away valuable songwriting learnings. Songwriting learning number 1, the 15 or 14 syllable challenge. Unfortunately, Taylor didn't really stick to it. So she establishes a beautiful idea in the first verse with the 15 or 14 syllables. I heard you call me boring baby when the coke's got you brave. Unfortunately, the second verse was this here and left the pattern completely.
Hadn't thought of you in a long time.
Right? So she doesn't have this 15, 14, 15 syllable thing, which I kind of find sad. Why not stick to the idea established in the first verse? For us aspiring songwriters, let's take the 14, 15 syllable challenge and try to stick to it in verse number 2. Songwriting learning number 2. Even a signature chord progression like that Where Is My Mind thing with 1, 6 minor, 3 and 4 can be used again because chord progressions are not copyrightable, and this is something that we must always remember. Adding a new melody, adding new lyrics, maybe adding a new harmonic rhythm to a chord progression will make all the difference, which is why we shouldn't kind of ignore the common chord progressions or the not so common chord progressions that were still kind of emblematic. This is something that will always be the foundation of our songwriting, so please remember that. And songwriting learning number 3, this is all about prosody, in that case prosody with the title of the song. So if your title of the song means something as strong as actually romantic, it makes sense to think of the melody that goes with this lyric line and try and find a way to make it mean the same. And I think they succeed. And when I say they, I again mean Taylor Swift, Max Martin and Shellback. They succeeded perfectly at underlining that actually romantic idea into a melody with that nostalgic movement downwards. Right? Actually romantic. Really, really cool. So this is something that they were aware of and that they really, really were successful at pointing out that this is actually romantic. And this was my live reaction and on-the-fly analysis of Taylor Swift's Actually Romantic. If you liked this, please make sure to give me the thumbs up, to subscribe to the Let's Talk Song channel if you haven't yet, and to leave friendly comments. Please also consider becoming a paying member here on this channel or visiting me on Patreon in order to get special treatment, early access, private community, shoutouts, you name it. You might also want to visit my link tree. Again, info in description. Maybe we can make it to 4,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. I would really love that. I guess we've talked song. You can talk about Jane Goodall now. Bye bye.